Underwood. Thin ice! To smoke some weed and shut up. My God.
Oh,
I thought for sure
there it is. Boom!
Yes! Oh, God, we got to do another one of these. Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 195. ArmchairIllini.com. Shout out to them. Shout out the writing stuff. Football off season and basketball. Whatever. January, nope. February 2nd, 2024. I don't want to do that. Whatever. I'm tired.
What'd you do today? Nothing. I'm tired. I don't know about you, but
I was working out and I waited until
Holy
like
cow.
3:20 to do it, and I barely. That's why we're late. But that's why I didn't get here till 4:00 because
yeah, I actually have a job and had to work.
Well,
sorry that we're late, guys. But
I was working out, something that you've never done. So nice try.
I didn't make banners for this episode either because
Who cares? Who's going to stop us? I mean, what? Somebody going to not watch because you don't have banners? I mean, come on. Just listen to what we say. It's on the banner.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
did play a basketball game.
Yeah, I feel like
that's what this podcast is about. I don't know if you know that, but
this is a pretty big gap.
Illinois basketball.
This is a pretty big gap between episodes for us.
Is it?
I feel
When was our last episode?
The last one was Monday, right?
I don't have any idea.
That's 3 days without one. I feel like we haven't done that in a while because of the schedule. But the schedule now, opening up a little bit, getting some rest.
There's going to be a lot of time in between.
If you can get to
the January,
it might get to the point where honestly we might end up doing like a Nebraska recap and then a Michigan State preview as separate episodes, since it's like a Monday, Sunday, Saturday game. But our last one was on the 28th of January. So it feels like it's been a while. Sunday. Yeah, we haven't done one forever. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm trying to share this on the socials and
yeah, I can never.
Struggling.
Facebook is annoying with that. But we even have to talk about this game. I feel like we could just, kind of.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's here actually was in the watch party with us. Jeff, what's going on? Jeff says Dane deserves 7 to 8 minutes a half. That's crazy talk. But anyways, Bootzilla, what's going on? And he also said that he refuses to watch without banners. So sorry.
Fair.
Hinkle called us bums. Shocking. I think their internet makes their clocks run slow. Wish Ethan's parents would switch.
Number one, you used the wrong form of there. Okay, it's THEIR. Number two, my internet's pretty fast, pretty legit. Probably the best internet that you can get in this area. So nice try. And I call the shots on internet speed. Okay.
All right. So Illinois beat Ohio State 87-75 at Ohio State. Ended up being a pretty easy win, I would say. The return of Terrence Shannon Jr. in the second half did not earn him player of the game for us. I went with Ty Rodgers, 26 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 for 3 from the line, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 offensive. Believe it's his second double-double of his career. 2 assists, a steal, 1 turnover. The team only had 6, so that's good. He had a crazy putback dunk on a Terrence Shannon missed 3. And, Ohio State ran the 5 against him. Ohio State also ran a 1-3-1 that I felt like Illinois picked apart pretty well. But, yeah, he kind of just seems to get lost when a 5 is guarding him, and he can get rebounds off of that. And it was nice to see him get 10 extra minutes this game rather than the last game. Underwood said, quote, I thought Ty dominated the game. Everybody keeps putting the 5-man on him, and we keep laughing because he's our best post player. I thought defensively he was all over the place. All over the place in a good way, I assume. When Brad said this, I text you because doesn't it make sense to put a 5 on your best post player? I don't understand what exactly Brad is trying to say when he says that they keep putting the best or the 5 on him, but sure. I mean, you don't want to put a guard on your best post player. So
I think you're reading too much into Brad speak
I'm
after a
reading
game.
all the way into it. So, anyways, my player game, Ty Rodgers. Sorry, Terrence Shannon. Have a better first half.
I agree. I don't think Brad sits there and thinks about analytically thinking about what he says,
I'm analyzing.
I think that's why he says
what I do.
a lot of what he says. I think from his perspective, I think he's pumping up how good he thinks Ty is as a post player.
I agree.
Which he has 2 moves, really, maybe 3. Which had a nice putback dunk in this game too. Had a good game.
Still waiting for him to pop a 3.
Never happening. I wish somebody would ask about it instead of the same questions every game.
I agree.
Why don't we ask?
You know what Brad would say?
Would you
Why
feel
would
comfortable?
He shoot a 3? He's our best post player.
Would you feel comfortable? Just say yes or no. Would you feel comfortable? You don't have to preface with that, but just say yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
I messed up. Run it back and action. Would you feel comfortable with Ty Rodgers shooting a 3? So yes. I gotta ask. I mean, I feel like they asked. Well, I mean, that's maybe what Brad would say. I feel like they asked him Kofi questions similar to that.
Yeah.
I think he has to do it first. I guess I don't know. Before they ask, whatever. Only 3 players in double figures in this game. I went with Marcus Damask, player of the game. 35 minutes, 23 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 8 for 8 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. A quietly really good game from Damask, I think.
Highly efficient game.
Yeah, only 1 turnover, 1 for 2 from 3, made all of his free throws. One of his more efficient performances, probably I would say his second most efficient performance outside of the FAU game, where he obviously, made 15 of 21 shots and, had 33 points. So, yeah, I mean, free throw shooting, he's been really good lately. In the last 3 games, he's missed 1 free throw. He's 13 for 14. On the season, I think he's 88%. So
yeah,
probably the best free throw shooter on the team right now. 78 for 88.
After shooting 60% the last game, they shoot 90% this game. The only missed free throws was Quincy Guerrier, of course, and then Hansberry.
Damask also up to 24% from deep. Going up. Was 22, now 24.
All the way up. Just keep going 1 for 2 every game.
Get him to 33, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah. I really thought you'd go with Terrence Shannon. I'm kind of disappointed you didn't.
Let's just get this out of the way. First of all, it's your fault that Shannon wasn't picked. Number 1. Number 2, I was saying during the watch party that I was going to go with Ty Rodgers, but then,
you did. That's how
I went with Damask, and then I figured you would go with Shannon. You're like, oh, let me take Ty Rodgers.
I mean, I wanted to take Ty Rodgers, but I remembered you had said that, so I wasn't going to. And then you took Damask, and I'm like, well, he's wide open.
Weak. I don't want people to read into us not taking Shannon because I think some might.
Yeah.
Maybe not the people that watch us, but people on Twitter.
I just felt like after Ty has kind of sat the bench, in the second half, felt like he had a really good game here and kind of deserved it. And I mean, Damask has just been really good. And I think Shannon's first half had a lot to do with maybe not taking him for player of the game. He was close. I'm not going to lie. He was close, but 32 minutes from him, 23 points, 7 for 17 from the field, 3 of 7 for 3. Nice to see those 3 start to drop. 6 of 6 from the line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He had a team high of 2 turnovers, but it is what it is. I put on here, shout out to Joey Wagner for keeping Twitter updated of what the 7 students were chanting at Terrence Shannon. Thought that was very necessary. So glad that he was letting us know, because you couldn't hear it on TV because there was maybe 400 people in that place. So, yeah. But
Illinois 50, 40, 90 in this game. 31 of 60 from the field. 7 of 17 from 3, which is 41%, and 90% from the free throw line. So, Joey Wagner. I mean, what, do you not like my stuff anymore?
Come at me, Joey. Quackle, what's going on? Jeffrey says, I have to admit, he does look better after the Purdue game.
I think he's talking about Damask.
Okay. Jay, what's going on? How you doing? He says Damask, Ty, and TSJ could all win player of the game. TSJ and Damask has has done this so many times, it seems expected. Yeah, and again, I think, you might say, oh,
Ty.
you didn't pick
He's talking about Ty.
What?
Jeffrey's talking about Ty, my bad. Very mistimed because I was talking about Damask for like a minute by the time he typed
Ty
that.
has been better. I got you.
I mean,
he's saying that Dane Danger didn't need a lot of time. A lot of people, I think Jeffrey probably would have picked Dane as player of the game here. I mean, they were celebrating Dane after this game like he put up 30 points and 15 boards. So
7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block.
Brad complimented Terrence's defense and said that he fought through a lot of screens, and that's a big reason why he thought he did better on the offensive end. And he was also asked if the Indiana game played into him playing better in this game. And Brad said, I think so. I mean, Terrence did not have a good first half, though, right? So
thought he was okay. I mean, he had like 2 threes in the first half that went in and out, or else he has 6 more points right there.
Yeah,
I meant to go back and watch some of the defensive film, but I just didn't do it.
Yeah, we only had 3 days. I don't know why you would.
Yeah, just golf and
we were busy on the golf course yesterday. That's right.
Yeah.
Zach says we love Nebraska.
I would say Nebraska should be our number one, like, we're coolest with Nebraska. Yeah, I mean, they got like a 5-year window of us liking them because of the 2022.
I don't think
Wisconsin
anybody can hate Nebraska ball. I mean,
I mean, them and Northwestern were in the basement, and now they're both pretty good. And obviously, we can't like Northwestern. Although I do kind of like watching Northwestern play.
If they come in and beat us on Sunday, we're not going to like them. But
yeah. I think Illinois getting to the point of where they're getting a little bit of rest in the season at 7-3 in the Big Ten, I think is great.
I agree. Can we stop with this nonsense of Illinois controls their own destiny now? Like, Illinois is not going 10-0 to close out the season.
I think we've really
as optimistic as I usually am. I mean, I said 17-0 to start the season last year. Let's not act like Illinois is going 10-0 to finish.
We do this every year. Every year this happens on Illini Twitter. Every year it's they could still win the Big Ten. They're not going to win the Big Ten. You know what? It doesn't matter right now. It really doesn't. Like, get the double bye, and then get a 4 or 5 seed in the tournament, and then don't get the 4-13 upset or 5-12 upset. That's pretty much it. And then hopefully the team on the other side maybe gets the 4-13 or 5-12 upset. Some of the people, like Lunatic on Twitter, who's a moron, by the way, and the other guy that was bitching about Shannon's play. Some of the people on Twitter, who I'm talking about. Yeah, give me what a joke. Yeah, it's such, what do we even talk about engagement farming, talking about, control our own destiny. Shannon looks so bad. Why can't we ever wait to the end of a game before we, I get that it's funny for social media because when people are wrong, that's great. But I don't know. Maybe I do this too and I don't know it, but I feel like going that far out of your way to have that many words in a tweet about how bad Shannon was in the first half.
Yeah.
I guess that's, I don't know.
He wasn't, the thing is he's not a liability. That's where he kind of stepped over where he said he was a liability. You can't call a guy that was going to be an All-American before he got suspended for 6 games or whatever it was a liability.
How many subscribers does that channel have?
I don't know. Jeffrey says, I don't know about player of the game, but it wouldn't hurt to give the guy more minutes per half. Dane Danger, I know. Jay, Sunday's game should be a 10-plus point victory. Nebraska, Jekyll and Hyde from home to road. I think Ethan has that written down somewhere. So you're looking at our notes. Philip wants to know Purdue or Wisconsin on Sunday. I'm going to say Purdue.
We'll get there. We're going to do a preview for that game. They have 330 subscribers. Okay.
Bootzilla said we're going 10-0. How dare you? I'm sorry. My bad. Jeffrey not going to win the Big Ten without a lot of luck. It's fair.
Do you guys? Does anybody in here listen to the 200 level? I've never heard them before.
I don't know.
Let me know.
I've seen his podcast. But, Jay says I could give a crap about the Big Ten or the Big Ten tournament. Make the Sweet 16, and the rest is bonus. Yeah, me and Ethan talked about this a little bit yesterday on the golf course. It's more about just getting in the top 4. You want to get those bye games. You want to, be rested for the NCAA tournament. That's all that matters this year.
You don't want to play Jalen Pickett, Micah Shrewsbury, Penn State.
Yeah, if it comes out that you win the Big Ten, great, but I don't think any Illinois fan should worry about that right now.
They still have to go to Michigan State. I know Iowa's not great, but they can score. And Illinois' defense has been a bit questionable in the last month. And then they still have to go to Wisconsin. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Hinkle says finishing in front of Wisconsin in the big standings will be the difference between a 3 seed or a 4 or 5 seed.
The team in the Big Ten that might get close, like unexpectedly close? It's the team right behind Illinois. Northwestern.
Never heard of them.
They have Minnesota. They have Nebraska at home, so in Evanston. Penn State in Evanston. Rutgers on the road, that's an easy win. Indiana on the road, you never know, but Northwestern's better. Michigan in Evanston. At Maryland, that's tough. Home against Iowa. At Michigan State, home against Minnesota. Like, that's a 15-5, 16-4. I don't think they're going to go 16-4, but they could easily go 8-2 to finish and be 14-6. So just watch out. I'm just saying. I think Illinois is less likely to finish 8-2 than Northwestern with the schedules. So just saying, watch out.
Watch out. Steve says the mayor has things going pretty good in Nebraska. Tough out. Zach says he would love to be a 3 seed. Jeff is agreeing with Jay. If you guys remember what Jay said, if you don't worry about it. Philip says, I want to beat Wisconsin in the standings.
Maybe
Underwood will finally win Coach of the Year.
No, he won't. It's going to be Hoiberg or Guard or something, probably, which is whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, back to
Coleman Hawkins.
The Ohio State game. Coleman Hawkins played 25 minutes, 2 for 3, 1 for 1 from 3, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block. Got teed up. I think it was just one of those things where, the refs watched him upside down palm them enough that they were tired of it and kind of put him in his place. So gave him his 4th foul, and he was on the bench for a while. Underwood said, quote, "That's stuff we can't tolerate and can't happen. It didn't hurt us tonight, but he has to understand his value to our basketball team and his importance to our basketball team, and that stuff can't happen." Underwood also said, quote, "I'm never very comfortable without Coleman on the floor, to be truthful, and I thought we responded in a great way." He was kind of talking about Hansberry and DGL coming in towards the end of the half because Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins were on the bench, and Illinois didn't really give up ground during that time. So that was good. Quincy, 22 minutes, 5 points, 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. Missed his only free throw, 2 rebounds. Quincy's struggling a little bit.
It happens.
It does happen. I'm glad that he shot the ball this game, though. I think Quincy has to put up some threes to make this team good. So glad that he did that. Rebounding, not so great this game, but it is what it is. The bench. We got way too many guys to talk about that came off the bench. So Harmon, 24 minutes, 6 points, 3 for 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 4 rebounds, and assist to steal. Good game.
Who? Harmon?
Harmon. What'd you think? Good game? Bad game?
A lot of these guys. Illinois probably looked the most because we heard the word connected a lot, I guess. Was that the word that Brad used all the time?
That is the word, yeah.
We saw a lot more of that in this game. But I also think part of that is like Ohio State is the Missouri of the Big Ten. They're not as bad as Missouri, but it's similar where you can beat them up if you play well. And Ohio State is 3-7 in conference. Missouri is 0-8 in their conference.
Ouch.
But Ohio State's in a bad spot. I mean, everything about that Ohio State team there's literally a 0.5% chance that Holtman is still there next year. So you got to beat these teams when you play them, and you got to beat them up by 12 points, which Illinois did on the road again in a raucous crowd of 200 people. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Luke Goody, 18 minutes, 1 for 3, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 points, 3 rebounds. He did have a nice shot fake, dribble into the 3. Looked good. I think you complimented it. So, yeah. Dane Danger.
I would challenge Jay's thing here. Is Quincy becoming passive since TSJ came back? He was playing his best when he's gone. I think there's some of that, but Quincy scored 28 against Missouri when TSJ was there, and he scored 15 against Colgate and made 2 for 2 from 3, and 22 against Tennessee. And I think he continued that after and played well against Northwestern, played well against FDU, solid against Purdue, good against Michigan State, even though he went 1 for 6 from 3. I think, and then Shannon returns. He has 15 points against 15 and 11 against Rutgers with Shannon, and 15 and 11 against Northwestern with Shannon. So I don't think it has anything to do with Shannon being back. I think it has to do with maybe just the fact that Quincy's not a guy that's going to play well the entire season. I think he's probably a bit streaky, which most players are. So I don't think there's anything to the fact that Shannon being back is hurting or affecting Quincy's offense.
Do you think that Quincy's game kind of hurts a little bit when they put the 5 on Ty, because it kind of stops cutting lanes, and that's what Quincy's been really good at this year. I feel like this team hasn't been cutting as much as they used to. So
it's also a bit weird to see a game where Guerrier plays 20 plus minutes and only has 2 rebounds.
Yeah,
like, I know Ty had 10, but
yeah, yep.
Ohio State didn't miss a ton of shots, to be fair, so there weren't a lot of rebounds to be had on the defensive glass.
Coach Gawthorpe says he listens to level 200 until he becomes whiny. Happens too much.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Philip, thoughts on the Big Ten not having all 18 teams in conference tournament next year? We didn't write that down, but I did want to talk about the plan.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I'll write it down now just so we remember.
Yeah. Jeff says Brad chewed Quincy, but at the end of the Indiana game with 14 seconds left on the clock, think there's a little something going on there. I think Brad just likes chewing people's ass. But Jay says he agrees with you.
Dane Danger.
11 minutes, 3 for 5, 1 for 1 from the line, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block. Underwood said, quote, Coleman has been such a dominant player for us on both ends of the court, and Dane hasn't gotten a ton of minutes with the way we've been playing. And for him to answer the call and be ready speaks volumes to who he is as a person and what a great teammate he is. Couldn't be more proud of him. Had a lot of Dane praise in this post game.
I mean, look, I think there's some players
surrounded him, covered him with water. Woo! Way to get 7 points, Dane.
Okay. I think there are some players in his position that aren't playing as much as they think they should be, or maybe they just should be. Sky Clark, that would maybe leave.
Yeah.
Even though Sky Clark, he started. It's so annoying. But Dane, sticking it out, which I know we have to move the goalposts just because of what everything is now, but like, good for him. I mean, he got some playing time mainly because of the foul trouble and the fact that Ohio State's terrible. And he played well. Did some good things. That rebound, like being under the basket and one, was a very nice play.
It was very good. Yeah. Yeah. Dane, great game. If he can come in and give these minutes, that's great. I don't see him as an 8-minute-a-half guy like Jeff. But
before we get to the freshman, I'd like to hear Hinkle's entire list of Illini podcasts. Top 3, he says 200 levels, the top 3 of the 10 to 15 that exist. I'd like to hear the rest of that list. Where's the Illini cast? Where's the Inquirer? Where's keeping it orange and blue or whatever the hell that one is. Stuff like that. Like to hear his list. So
we really came in hot. There's 15 other podcasts about Illinois basketball. Illini guys, sturdy for 30, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to hear. I mean, I'm not.
There you go.
I guess the 200 level guy got dunked on for the first half TSJ take. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just.
No one asked those guys. Yeah.
Who's that?
Those are the guys that do live. They do live post games, and they're trying to be us. I think.
That's how you get viewers right there.
I agree. Squared circle squares. Can we talk about Coleman Hawkins? We already did.
For like 2 seconds.
Did you think Coleman had a good game?
A quiet and efficient game.
Squared circle square also said we're the best podcast. Thank you.
I don't know about that.
Appreciate you. What's Coleman's numbers been like the last 5 games? Compare them.
I'd like to know if
we don't work for you.
I'd like to know if there's a podcast that does watch parties that goes outside in the sleet when it's like 37 degrees to shoot free throws and have nobody comment about it. Like, is there any Illini podcast that does that?
Just wait till our golf content this summer.
Wait till we go to Eugene. I mean, come on, people don't know what's going to hit them when that happens.
Yeah. Shout out to John Carter for liking the post on Facebook. If you guys haven't, like the post, like the YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We broke 450 during our watch party. So
it takes a lot of effort to like the post. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Great. He's sitting around doing nothing right now.
That was our one-time producer, John Carter.
That's true. Yeah, had a great run. I think that was for the Underwood Thin Ice. He probably was gone by then. Like he probably walked. I'd drive producers out of town.
Bootzilla says no one asks your doppelgangers.
I'm gonna look these fellas up.
They started after us though. New podcast called Talking Hawkins, all about number 33.
I will say this about our podcast. I think there's a lot of podcasts these days that start and they're just doing video right away. We are the case where, look, like our first 20 plus episodes, no video. That's when you started a while ago.
That's true.
5 years.
I think we're the original live podcasters too. I think we started the live stuff.
I wouldn't go that far, but sure.
I would.
And we have the most unique name out of any of them. All these guys are overthinking it.
Silly names like who asked us. Jay says, you guys are my favorite. Agree with about 95% of what you say. You guys always respond to every comment. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you. Jeff says, I think Coleman needs a few minutes less. He looks tired at times. I wonder if his knee's bothering him. You guys forget has that knee.
I feel like if we did the reactionary stuff that these no one asked us fellas do, we would probably have as many subscribers as them because they do have more subscribers than us and they have a lot of views. But that's just like it's tough to find a balance, between like, do you want to go live right after the game or do you want to go live and have all the numbers and stuff and quotes?
Yeah. I hate going live right after. You know that.
I think it depends on the game. There's special cases like we did the Iowa game last year where I was pissed off. We did Marquette this year.
Would you guys like us to go live right after games? The thing is, we do watch parties for so many that we're technically live after the games anyways.
True. So. I mean, at least the good thing, I think I've never seen these no one asked us guys, but it looks like they went to college together, SIU, radio, probably pretty good. Probably unlike some of the other people in the business, unlike us.
Bootzilla says we're the only ones that do live in-game podcasts. We're the only one. Yeah, we do watch parties. Jeffrey, you give a voice to the fans. That's why I watch. Thanks, Jeff. Even though Ethan cusses you out like every episode. Well, not necessarily you.
That's the beautiful thing.
In your direction.
Who else is going to do that?
It would be better if Ethan would lose his shit more often.
Is there anybody that does an Illini podcast that attacks their fan? I feel like we need that, right? That's a special part of.
Jeffrey says he doesn't care.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it to anybody that I didn't think could take it or was like a troll. Like if it was a troll that came in, then you do whatever you want. But if it's, whatever.
Jay said no one asked isn't very good. Guys, we can't be promoting other people's podcasts on our podcast.
What does it matter? I mean, does anybody care?
I'm joking.
I don't know.
This is for the people that aren't watching it on YouTube, because we do have people that listen not on YouTube. Philip, Big Ten find a public reprimand of Chris Collins at the end of the Purdue game. Yeah, $5,000, I think. It's like a family. I agree, Jeff. We're like a family.
I wrote it in the doc. I wrote the Chris Collins thing in the doc.
Holy cow. Guys, you guys want to talk about this game, or you just want to talk about podcasts? A podcast about podcasts.
Hinkle, you need to find another genre of podcast to listen to. Okay, so it looks like he has us at 1. If this is in order.
Does he not believe in commas?
This is a Jeffrey post. Inquirer 2, 200 level 3, Tay and Piper's radio show. I can't imagine Piper being good at radio. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I mean, unless he's different on radio than he is on the Inquirer. What am I not? This is a problem with this country right now and in the media landscape, is that we can't criticize anybody. It's not like I'm more accomplished.
Isn't there a difference between like criticizing people sometimes or just doing it all the time?
I don't criticize everybody. There's a lot of people. Let's look at radio. Let's look at radio history, okay? Sports radio history. Mike and the Mad Dog were phenomenal. They were the gold standard for so many years in New York. Okay, those guys are great. You look at like Craig Carton. I know he obviously went to prison, had the whole big thing. He's back. He's on Fox now. I thought he was really great at radio in his first run at the Fan. So you look at those guys, great, But then there's other show like the Bart Scott, Chris, what's his name? Chris Carlin, Maggie Gray show on WFAN a few years ago. That show was horrible. And everybody knows that. And their current schedule, has some flaws, but that's just New York radio. You look at Boston. I think some of the shows in Boston do some good ratings, but they're still not good. There's a reason this Odyssey is going down. The Odyssey, the parent company of all these radio networks or stations. Odyssey's dying, and there's a reason. And a bunch of sellouts. But anyway, he's got Illini guys, sturdy. Inside Illini basketball was just Scott Ritchie. We love no other, which is Rosenthal. Illini guys without sturdy. I don't know what that is. No one asked us. Keeping it orange and blue. He doesn't listen to Illini cast. He doesn't listen to Champagne on Ice. I saw Champagne on Ice has new host now. Field 68. I guess Dion's done with that, but maybe they should have asked us.
I was kind of shocked that Dion didn't reach out, honestly.
If anybody didn't okay, we didn't publicly criticize Jeff Goodman very much or Rob Doster over this. So maybe Field of 68 should have asked us to do that. Just saying. Let's do a hypothetical. If they reached out and said, do you guys want to do Champagne on Ice? Would we do that?
Absolutely not. I'm Illini basketball podcast 100%.
What if they let us? What if they let us? And I hope Armchair's not listening to this. What if they let us?
They're definitely listening to this.
It's a joke. What if they let us take this podcast over there, and everything was the same as we were under there?
We already are happy with the home we're at with Armchair.
All right, great. I like Sleepers. They're funny. Yeah.
Sleepers. I wasn't a fan, but I'll listen to them every once in a while.
They are what they are. It's fine. I mean, I don't have any problems, nor should they care if I have any problems. But
that's the power rankings. We win. Bates says we need Illini golf episodes.
We could do that in the summer, like do a golf whenever they inevitably lose early in the NCAAs this year, like they always do.
Bootzilla says, does Bardo's show count?
Nah, it's not an Illini show. But if he did have an Illini show, it would count and it would be last.
Jeffrey said he invented the no comma statement, so stop it. Goodman has an attitude problem. Goodman always looks like he's ready to snap at any minute. Goodbloom's apology was so weak.
It wasn't even really an apology.
No, it was I hate that you fooled me.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
No-namer behind a no-name thing. Anyways, Hinkle says You guys got to stop commenting so we can get through this. Hinkle says Divine Providence was excellent for nobody with production resources. Yeah, I thought it was very good. I mean, I kind of see where they're coming from with Fanta being on it and a guy calling someone Hitler 17 times during it.
You're
probably not a great look. So
what is wrong? Right. Whatever. I guess I wouldn't understand. I don't know if people are mad at whatever.
I think that they were, because I guess they're with Fox or something. I don't know. They were just worried that. Yeah. And then on top of it, John Fanta's dad died, and it's just
brutal situation.
It's a mess. So,
and you know what? I have always been, and we have always been, John Fanta, great guy. I was DMing him last year to come on our college basketball show. It was going to happen, and then it just didn't happen. But I don't blame anybody for that. I mean, he does a ton of stuff. So he accommodates bowling on Fox. I mean, the guy does everything. So, obviously, send our thoughts out to him. Great guy. And I don't know if he
absolutely.
I don't know if he wanted to be thrown into that by them. Like, did he really want them to defend him like that? I mean, obviously Goodman handled it the wrong way.
Yeah, I just feel like that it was a place where he wasn't going to do it himself because of what he was going through anyway. So maybe they just felt they had to. But anyways, on to the freshmen. We'll finish this up and we'll get to talking about the Nebraska game. Hansberry, 4 minutes, 1 for 2 from the field. He did take a 3. He did have an and 1. It was a head fake and a drive, if I remember right. 2 points for him. Hansberry and DGL were actually on the court at the same time. We talked about it a little bit earlier when Shannon and Hawkins were both on the bench with 2 fouls. DGL 3 minutes, 0 for 1. He had a foul. Fans seem to love his defensive intensity. I wrote this down. During the watch party, I was saying, don't foul, don't foul, don't foul. And he fouled. But it is what it is. He knocked it out a couple times. I tried to rewatch it. It looked like he fouled him like 4 times. And then when they finally called the foul, it wasn't really a foul. But it is what it is. Underwood said, quote, having these guys in, he said, quote, I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. You want to end the half the right way, and you have guys out there that haven't done it. Illinois struggled to end a half the right way. So I guess maybe you should play the freshmen more often at the end. Other quotes and notes. Illinois won the rebounding battle 36-28. Underwood said, quote, one thing I was happy about is that we took threes. The last game we turned down so many of them, and we're a really good shooting team. It was nice to see TJ get it going from 3. And then Brad said 7-3. That means we're halfway through the league. We got a lot of them to go. Anytime you went on the road, it's a good thing. I'm one game at a time, one day at a time. This is day 16 in a row for us. We had a 9-game month, so a day off is much needed. Nice way to put an end to that streak. So I think the guys got a couple days off. They all said they were going to sleep in hydrobolic chambers. So, and then you put this up for Jeffrey. So,
well,
I mean, let's not act like we don't know who you're writing this to.
I'm just writing it for everybody that complains about the offense, and he's obviously a part of that. So
I don't know anybody else that does besides Jeffrey. So
sure. Illinois' offensive efficiency right now is actually 121.4. It went down 0.1, which I don't know how that's possible since I wrote this down after they played. At 121.4 efficiency, the Illini offense is now the second best it's been in Jeffrey's favorite, the Ken Palm era, which is since the 1998-99 season. They were 118 in 2020-21. That was a 1-seed team. They were 110.6 in 2012-13, which was Gross's first season with Weber's players, and 122.3, the only one better, 04-05, obviously. So the offense is good, and it's been good in most games. I know they've had some slumps here and there, but let's think about this. They scored 97 against Missouri. These are all power conference opponents, by the way. 98 against FAU as well. And also 79 against Tennessee in a game where they didn't even play that well and shot 100 threes. 96 against Northwestern. 88 against Michigan, who stinks. 86 against Rutgers, who stinks. The Indiana game was a complete outlier. 91 at Northwestern in overtime, in an overtime where they couldn't even score. So I think they had 86 points in regulation against Northwestern on the road, and then 87 at Ohio State. And I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't go 80 plus against Nebraska. So this offense can go. And there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different ways for them to score. It's a different look, especially based on what we saw last season from this team. I think it's great that they can give teams different looks than like last season was so painful to watch. And I feel like if we had to rewatch last season, would that even be worth it? Like I would just stop watching basketball forever if I had to do that.
No, I don't want to see Meyer throw up 47 threes a game.
And Meyer was like the third or fourth most prevalent issue. I don't know why everybody just literally the only person that people talk about from last season is Meyer. As if he wasn't one of their best players last season, numbers.
Yeah.
Come on. Like Epps was so good, or like Sky Clark didn't leave the team like a.
I mean, I only talk about it because I know how much you liked him.
Well, I just don't understand. Like everybody acts like Meyer was the devil.
It's funny.
Like, he was great for some games.
For some game until he.
Okay, that team last year is one of Brad Underwood's best coaching jobs here. He went 11-9 in the Big Ten with that team. That team stunk in a lot of areas. And Meyer was a big reason why they even won 11 games in the Big Ten. So don't give me that nonsense. I mean, let's just look through the roster. RJ Melendez, 26% from three, was a 0 for most of the season. Sky Clark left in January. Coleman Hawkins was not as good as he is this year in a lot of areas of the game. Dane Danger is not the guy that you want as a big option on offense in the Big Ten. Jaden Epps had his ups and downs. He's a freshman, not great, but whatever. He's scoring 25 points on 40 shots. Meyer, obviously a streaky, inconsistent player. Shannon wasn't quite as good as he was in the first half of this season. Sincere and Ty were freshmen, and then Goody was hurt. So let's all relax, okay? Let's relax. Matthew Meyer, overall, solid Illini, solid transfer addition. I thought played about what I expected him to play. Maybe could have been a little bit better from three overall percentage-wise, but he also tanked his percentage the last 4 games of the season. So let's all
I hear relax. That guy isn't a winning player. That's what somebody told me one time.
Who told you that?
I don't know, some guy on Twitter, and you said he literally won a national championship.
That's what I was going to say there. He won.
I know.
I know he wasn't like a huge part of that team, but he played, and it was like the 6th or 7th guy in the rotation. So nice try, everybody.
All
right. Double-digit betting line. Yeah, probably.
Jeff said that it's hard to talk about the game when you don't have Peacock. It's only $5 a month, Jeff. Lots of stuff on there. Jay says, what's the expected line for the game? -8, he thinks.
11.5.
Jeffrey says, Fanta asks the hard questions. Hinkle says Fanta would be huge for the show. I think it was actually for the other show. Ethan doesn't care about this one.
I'd have him on this one.
Hinkle says double-digit line. Yeah, I know you just said that, but Jeffrey says, my issue with KenPom, don't play the game. It don't measure a player's heart. It can't measure a play that changes the game. I beat on KenPom because it's more of an educated guess for gamblers to bet on.
What are you talking about, Rocky? I mean, Jesus Christ. First of all, nobody uses KenPom. At least I don't use KenPom as like a complete way to think of a team. I think it's part of the pie. I think there's 3 pieces to it. I think there's the metrics. I think there's just like the overall like makeup of the roster. And then I think there's the eye test.
The eye test.
Those 3 things. That's literally how analytics and like everybody in baseball says, analytics why does everybody just use analytics now? It's just part of what you do. Every sport, you have to look at the advanced numbers, advanced statistics. They'll give you an idea, but you also have to look at other things as well and come to a decision. Nobody uses KenPom on its own. Like, I don't look at the KenPom numbers and say, this team's good, this team's bad. It's a part of the puzzle. So, and it doesn't measure heart. I mean, once again, what is this, Rocky? I mean, relax. Also, R.I.P. Carl Weathers, by the way, fantastic actor. Was in Rocky, And, everybody probably knows him as Chubbs from Happy Gilmore, but did a lot of great stuff. Famously played himself in Arrested Development. By the way, Arrested Development, the fact that Arrested Development got canceled by Fox, total outrage. That was 2005. That show was totally before its time. It's a complete joke. It might have been 2004 when it got canceled, but he was in 4 episodes of that as well. Also played a little bit in the NFL with the Raiders. Mandalorian, I think, is what a lot of the new school dweebs would know him from. So R.I.P. Carl Weathers, 76 years old.
What did he play in Rocky?
He played Creed, Apollo Creed.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Well, there you go.
Jay liked Carl in Predator.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to mention that as well. It's one of his other top billing.
I've never seen that.
Roles. So anyway, I don't know where I was going.
Happy Gilmore, good movie though.
Yeah, sure. Shout out to Rest.
I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was Creed. That's crazy.
There you go.
Learn something new every day. Anyways, Illinois got a game Sunday. Look, I made a banner.
Yeah, that took a lot of work.
Copy and paste is hard, man.
I mean, everything about this game for the Illini screams you have the Nebraska team coming off of an emotional win, going on the road where they've been bad.
Yeah.
This would scream an Illinois win. So that's just what I'm saying. It's a little scary to think about as a fan.
Yeah.
But everything about it screams that.
And it's not at 11. It's later in the day, which is good for Illinois. Hinkle
is saying that Carl Weathers was so good that he's now Arrested Development. Funny joke. Anyway, yeah, I have an obsession with calling out people's mistakes on here. I don't know why. I'm sorry. But seriously, Arrested Development.
Hard to be perfect like you, man. It's hard to be perfect.
Very hard. That was my main point that I was making. Other than the Carl Weathers thing, was Arrested Development. I mean, before its time, the fact that ever got canceled is such a joke. Seriously, great show. Recommended. I think it's on Netflix. Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, David Cross.
I guess I need to watch Predator now. My bad, Jay.
Watch Arrested Development before you watch Predator.
Predator, the original one with Arnold, was excellent. Wasn't that Terminator?
Jesus Christ. Happy Gilmore, Mandalorian, Action Jackson. That's another one I was going to mention, Action Jackson. So Illinois 16-5. Also, what other Illini podcasts are you going to get these kind of complete lack of structure? Illinois 16-5.
Been off the rails.
That's what we want. I mean, one thing about this podcast is that it does suck that podcast listeners, I think it's probably a hard listen.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So,
this is more of a, if you don't catch the live, it's probably not.
Or just watch it back, watch it back because you can see the comments on screen at least. But if you're listening to this in a podcast format, it's pretty tough. I've said that for years, and I don't think we're ever going to go away from doing this. But I'm just saying, maybe
I wouldn't know how to do this any differently. So
maybe every once in a while, like maybe we'll do a full season preview next year and just record it and post it. Maybe that'll happen because that's one where you have a lot of things to go. Or
you think anybody would listen and watch that?
Why not? I've been throwing some ideas in my phone every once in a while when I think of them for off-season podcasts for us to do, like maybe some history stuff. So those would probably be recorded episodies.
You plan on sharing those with me sometime?
I think I mentioned it to you once, maybe, but I'm just compiling. Like we could do let's look back at the 1981-82 Illini, like something like that. So that might be a fun idea.
Jeffrey says some coaches coach more to statistics. Some coaches coach for the eye test.
The best ones are the ones who balance everything and think about everything, which I think is what a lot of the good ones do now.
He also said that your new nickname is Babyface Hitman. He's already grown the beard back, though. Philip wants to know if we're getting stuck on Groundhog's Day. By the way, he saw a shadow or he did it. Whichever one it is, spring's coming, boys.
That is one of the great scams
and or girls history. If you're here.
Shout out to
telling me that PETA wants them to start flipping a coin instead.
Yeah,
because a coin is 50-50 and Punxsutawney Phil is only 40% right, which literally makes no sense. I mean, who works at PETA? They're not very smart.
Hinkle, most of our listeners are 85 years old or older, so they might care about the history podcast. And I also thought about like maybe some interview stuff we might want to do this offseason. Maybe get our guy Bardo on. He's a big part of the show.
Maybe we can contact some guys that want to come here in the portal and get them on the show. What do you think about that?
God, maybe we get Puxatakaway Phil on.
Okay.
Groundhog's Day. Have you seen that movie? Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah. Ned. Yeah.
Not a huge fan. It's fine. It's a good movie.
Not a fan? Really?
Not a huge fan.
Too rom-com-y for you?
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't. What are we doing?
Bill Murray. I don't know.
You're not a Bill Murray fan?
I like Bill Murray, but
Holy cow! You like Caddyshack? You're a golfer. Do you like Caddyshack? Have you ever seen Caddyshack?
I've maybe seen it in passing. I never really sat down and watched it.
Wow.
Okay, you want to get into a movie off? Have you ever seen Roadhouse?
Once.
Yeah, that movie stinks. By the way, they're doing a new Roadhouse coming out in like a little over a month. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Groundhog's Day was filmed in Illinois. You sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure that Punxsutawney Phil's in Pennsylvania.
Puxatakaway Phil.
Needle Nose Ned.
We should get the players
on too.
We should get Podge. Let's get Podge's dad on this summer and talk about what we were wrong.
Okay.
Have you seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
A long time ago.
Great movie. Really good.
Long time ago.
Really good.
Jeff says you're too young for the classics.
Have you seen Goodfellas?
No. Oof. Those really aren't. That's really not my
Goodfellas might be the number one of all time for me.
Really?
Yeah. I know a lot of people might say Godfather, but I like Goodfellas more.
I wasn't really a Godfather guy either. That's why.
A little long.
It was filmed in Woodstock, Illinois. Learn something new every day.
I mean, that's what Hollywood is. Today, they don't. Hollywood doesn't like. They could record think about all these shows based in New York or Chicago that are filmed in California. Like nothing's ever real at this point. Of course, that was '93, I guess. So.
Ferris Bueller. That's a good movie.
Have you seen Shawshank?
Yeah, well, probably one of my favorites.
I think I've seen Shawshank 57 times, probably, and it's on TV all the time.
You guys want us to do like a show? Remember when COVID happened and we did a podcast about this stuff and nobody showed up? And now here we're supposed to be talking about Illinois basketball. We've been talking about movies for the last 10 minutes.
Have you seen? Have you seen? Let's see. Have you seen? I mean, we're gonna do that.
TV shows. I got to ask this because it's going around in my guys group. You guys seen One Tree Hill?
My mom has actually been watching that.
A great TV
Funnily
show.
enough,
you should watch it with her.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm more of a Seventh Heaven guy for going back to. It's a little later, I think. Than,
but it's more basketball related. That's why I like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll watch it. Have you seen The West Wing?
No.
An American classic, really good. Yeah, 99 to 07, I believe. The late John Spencer, great role in that show. I'm trying to think of another.
Jeffrey says Animal House 1941. I don't know what that means. Bootstilla says if we talk about movies, he's here. Well, he's always here. Hinkle is going to the Golden State Wizards game versus Wizards. That sounded weird. This month with Pods' family ticket. Not sure if I tell him I'm an Illini fan or not. You got their tickets?
Would you scam them into giving you their tickets?
Yeah. Would you say you were from Santa Clara? Films? Bridge over Quai, says Embrats, and
that's not what it says.
Bridge on the River Quai. I don't even know what that is.
I remember that movie being.
Says it's good.
That movie was name dropped in The Office. Bridge on the River Quai, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, whatever episode that is of The Office. I can do a callback to like every scene in The Office if people really wanted me to. The Office, though, what kind of paved the way for The Office? I know the British Office was obviously a big part of that, but look at a show like Arrested Development. Just saying. Have you seen Band of Brothers?
No.
Might be the highest rated show of all time.
I'm not a big war fan. I'm also not a big like mafia. Like I never watched Sopranos either. It's not my thing.
Well, I've seen The Sopranos like 8 times, so that's tough.
Yeah. You made me watch Breaking Bad. Terrible show.
Breaking Bad is phenomenal. Oh my God. We're going to be here for another hour.
The ending of Breaking Bad was not good.
The ending is great.
Let's not act like it is.
It also plays that terrific Badfinger song. Badfinger, very inspired by the Beatles. And I think Paul McCartney actually wrote some stuff for them. But
Jeffrey says Patton war movies. Alec Guinness is in it. The guy who played Obi-Wan. Also, not a Star Wars guy.
Me neither.
Sorry.
Yeah, no interest. Or Star Trek or any of that. Yeah, it's all for dweebs.
Bootzilla says Band of Brothers is good. Kelly's Hero, says Jeffrey. I don't know what that is.
I've never seen it.
Which top 15 ranked team? What is this, a basketball podcast, Philip? What are you doing? Which top 15 ranked team do you think is the biggest fraud?
Probably Illinois. No, I would actually probably go Iowa State.
Really?
Yeah, they went up 11. They don't really score. I don't trust them to score in March. Like, look at that team last year.
I gotta look at the top 15 to actually know.
I'm looking at it now. They've won 3 in a row. They beat TCU, Kansas
I would
State,
honestly,
Kansas.
I mean, Wisconsin did not play good basketball yesterday.
I don't think they're a fraud.
I don't think they're a fraud.
What are you, IL lunatic?
Welcome back, by the way. Yeah. Iowa State's a good pick. I like that.
All right, we'll talk more movies and TV shows at the end of the episode today. Illinois and Nebraska, Sunday, 5:30, Big Ten Network. I'm doing this for Hinkle, by the way. Shout out. Nebraska, I think they're having a fun season. Fun team to watch at home. On the road, it's a bit of a different story. Coming off of like I said, an emotional overtime win. They were down 18, 47-29 to Wisconsin last night. At home this year, they're 14-1. They have wins over Purdue and Wisconsin. Their only loss was to Creighton. That was back in December at home, which was a Creighton revenge game because Nebraska beat Creighton in Omaha last season. They're 1-5 on the road, lost at Minnesota. They lost at Kansas State. They lost at Wisconsin. They lost at Iowa. They lost at Rutgers. They lost at Maryland. Their only road win was against Kansas State. So I did that wrong. They beat Kansas State. They didn't lose to Kansas State. You idiot. I'm stupid.
Good try.
1-0 neutral site win over Oregon State. A lot of transfers in their lineup. Project line, Jamarcus Lawrence, guard, 6'3", 183, sophomore. Assist guy is all I wrote because I don't really know. I don't remember much of what he's done. Tominaga, 3-point sharpshooter who hasn't been as good from 3 as he was last year. 36% from 3. I think he's 40% last year.
Only played 18 minutes last night.
Yeah, 6'2", 179 senior. They also got Bryce Williams, a Charlotte transfer. I think was on the Illini radar in terms of we talked about him a little bit, I think, over the summer. Transfer from Charlotte, shooting 40% from 3, 6'7", 213. This could be a tough matchup for Illinois. Josiah Alec, I guess is his name, 6'8", 231 senior, New Mexico transfer, has 0 field goals in the last 2 games.
And then, he's more of a, I don't know, defensive guy.
Glue guy.
Yeah.
Mark Vital, bigger. Senior or junior center, Rink Mast, 6'10", 248 Bradley transfer, and 34, 10, and 4 against Ohio State. Made some big shots last night as well.
Yeah.
Will be a tough matchup for Illinois to guard. Ken Palm, as Jeffrey likes. Illinois is 5th in offensive efficiency, 31st in defensive efficiency. Nebraska 35th on offense, 89th on defense. They're also 66th in three-point percentage. So if they're making threes, that's going to be tough. 36.2% they shoot from 3. And then they're 22nd in assists to field goals made. So they get assists on 45.1% of their field goals. To give you a reference point, Illinois is 100 or 313th in that. So not great. I might have read that stat wrong, by the way. I don't know. I don't think that's even the way that the stat is measured. Hang on. 60.1%. They get assists on 60.1% of their field goals. So 22 in the country with that. What else did I write? Players to watch? Is that next? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll get to these comments real quick. Philip says Nebraska doesn't play Wilcher and Tominaga together because neither can play much defense, and Wilcher was rolling last night. Yeah, I think Wilcher was like 5 of 7. He started off like 3 of 3. He hit some big shots. Imbrat says, seems to me Wisconsin wears down and shots stop falling the last 10 minutes of a lot of games. That second half was brutal last night, but Bootzilla says Duke or Arizona are the biggest frauds in the top 15. Jeffrey says we got to do upsets. We'll get to it. Brad says Mast is good. Watched him at Bradley. Upset special is Butler over. Hold on, guys.
Why would you waste your upset on tonight's slate? Tomorrow is the slate of
That's
gods.
Jeffrey says Embrats, that's the way they've been all year. Speaking of Wisconsin. All right, players to watch this game. Sunday, 5:30. I'm going with Ty Rogers of Illinois. I told you guys that I was doing Terrence Shannon until Terrence Shannon had a Terrence Shannon game. He had one last game, so I'm not doing him anymore. Ty Rogers. Nebraska is kind of different. They don't really run a true 5. So it'll be interesting to see if they put like Mass or Alec on him. If they do run a big on him. So I'm interested to see that, or if they'll actually put a guard on him. For Nebraska, I picked Bryce Williams. He seems to be the go-to guard for Nebraska right now at the end of regulation. In the game last night, he's the guy that had the ball in his hands when I really thought they probably should have put it in Rink Mass' hands. But he scored double figures in 17 of their 22 games. So got to stop him. Like you said, he shoots 40% from 3. You can't let Nebraska get hot from 3. So
yeah, I'm going Coleman Hawkins for the Illini. Big spot. They got a lot of forwards with some size, and obviously Mass can step out and shoot it, which is who I'm going with for Nebraska. It's going to be a lot to handle for him. We'll see how much Guerrier plays a role in this. We'll see if Hansberry gets any time to kind of – because I feel like Hansberry has a better chance of being able to guard on the perimeter than Dane, but I still don't think it would be great.
Yeah, well, I think that you could probably put – I don't know if you could put Dane on Alec or not. I know Alec's a little – I think he's 6'8". So, and I don't think he shoots as well from 3. What's he shoot from 3? Yeah, 33%. So, but yeah, I texted you last night and I said Rink Mass is the player that Brad Underwood thinks Coleman Hawkins is. How do you feel about that?
I think that's an insane thing to say.
What do you mean? Because he can actually post up and step out and shoot.
I don't know if just because Coleman posts up doesn't necessarily mean Brad thinks he's a great post player. Brad's emphasis with Coleman has always been defense and shooting. Like he's an elite shooter. Also, Mast shoots 51% from 2 and 34% from 3. That's not world beating. 51% from 2 is not great for a guy who's 6'10".
Yeah, I'm just saying he's.
You know what Coleman shoots from 2?
Built like a guy that can be inside out.
Coleman's 48%. That's just under him, and 37% from 3. So Coleman better from 3.
Okay,
that's a enemy narrative from you right there.
Brad wants to know if DGL plays over 5 minutes.
No,
I don't think so.
3 minutes. No, you know what? This is a Moretti game. No DGL, just Moretti.
Okay.
Moretti's gonna lock Tominaga down.
Unless we're up 20 plus.
We could have a battle of the century with Max Williams against Sam Hoiberg.
All right, you guys want to know what my upset pick is?
Sam Hoiberg can actually play though.
Nebraska over no. Predictions. I got Illinois winning this one 75-63. Nebraska has had some rough offensive games, so if they don't get going from 3, I think they're gonna have a hard time scoring. I don't know if Illinois gets to 80 this game though.
I'm going Illinois 83, Nebraska 69. Shout out to me for kind of saving the season in some ways by picking against them at Ohio State. Need to change things up a little bit, change the mojo around. We've been picking them to win every game for like the last month. Although I did pick them to beat Purdue. That was a mistake, but I believed in the guys, so sue me. Office reference right there. So I'm going to go 83-69. I think they'll score 80 plus. It might be like 78-68 and they foul or something, but 83.
Phillips says Juwan Gary is the key for Nebraska. Veteran wing, good hustle player, good defense. Yeah, he's kind of struggled last night too. He's only scored 9 in the last 3 games.
He's been hurt. He missed 3 games in a row.
Yeah, he starting, or am I crazy? Maybe
he
not.
was starting before he got hurt.
Okay.
Well, he started from he gets hurt a lot. He's missed 6 games this year due to injury. Plus I guess he did have he had an ACL or something, I think, last year, and missed, January to the end of the season, and then missed the first 3, and then didn't start until December 10th. Started from that game until he got hurt again, and then he seemed to be a little shaken up late last night in that game. So we'll see what his status is for this one.
Yeah. Bootzilla has Illinois 85, Nebraska 60. Brad says if Coleman gets in foul trouble, the Illini are going to have a hard time guarding the perimeter.
Might see a Quincy at the 5 lineup. Let's get weird. Let's get weird and do Ty at the 5. You don't think Ty could guard Mast a little bit?
They definitely ran Quincy at the 5 last game.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's probably because Zed Key is their backup 5.
Sure.
And he thinks he's so much better than he is. All right, let's go around the Big Ten real quick. Crazy game between Purdue and Northwestern on Wednesday or whatever day that, I think it was Wednesday. Purdue winning in overtime. Boo Buie hit some ridiculous shots down the stretch. Northwestern held their own better than just about anybody has this year at Purdue. A lot of people talk about the free throw discrepancy, which I think is a given when you're playing Purdue at this point. The way Purdue plays, and obviously having a true post player and one who's 7'5" or whatever. And Northwestern generally fouls a lot. I mean, I have tweets saying so in the Northwestern Illinois game. So
yeah, and Purdue, like Edey kind of olays people too. Like if he can't get a hand on it, he just kind of moves out of the way. So it's not like Purdue fouls when you go to the bucket very often either. So it is what it is.
And then Chris Collins ejected. Great ejection. Loved it. I'm a big Chris Collins fan when Illinois is not playing them.
I mean, he definitely had a point that Lance Jones hooked on that play, and I think it just festered. And then he thought that he was doing it because the game was over. Well, the game wasn't over yet. So, yeah, I've loved him. Hyping up the crowd, dabbing up Edey. That's the way to go out. I know you're a big
character. He's a character. I like him when Illinois is not playing him.
That's true.
We need coaches to make an ass out of themselves over like everything in the game, and he's one of those guys. And he's done a great job there. I mean, to make the tournament and have multiple seasons of success at Northwestern is crazy in basketball. So,
I don't know what just happened. Philip says, how many Big Ten coaches get fired after the season? Juwan Howard.
Yep. Holtman. 2. It might be it.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, if we just go down the list, Iowa would be so stupid to fire McCaffrey.
Yeah, there's no way.
Ben Johnson. Safe. Guard is safe. Ben Johnson's going to be a close one. We'll see how they finish. Rhodes is in his first season at Penn State. Pikel's good to go.
Pikel's got the best class ever coming in.
Woodson, I think Woodson will be safe, but not a great season. Izzo, obviously, fine. Collins, fine. Underwood, fine. Hoiberg's fine. Hoiberg's probably going to get an extension. So, yeah, probably 2, maybe 3. So, definitely Juwan and Holtman and maybe Woodson, maybe Johnson.
Hinkle says Illinois will score 80-plus in every remaining conference game except at Michigan State and Maryland. It's a bold statement. You want to put money on that? Let me know. Brad says, do you think Nebraska is athletic enough to hang defensively with the Illini? I mean, I think that they have. It kind of depends.
Are they? I don't know if they're at the guard position.
Yeah, I would agree with that
because they have Sam Hoiberg and Keisei Tominaga. Those guys don't jump off the page as athletes.
Hoiberg had like 3-4
He's
steals.
a good player. He can play.
Scrappy.
He's like the only outside of, if you don't count Iowa, because those guys like Fran's kids are big. Like you look at Tyler Underwood or you look at Izzo's kid or Hoiberg's kid, like he's the one who can actually play as a smaller guard.
Yeah. Bootsill said he forgot about Howard. He's easy to forget. Zach says Tommy Boy at MSU thinking about retirement. I could see that.
Speaking of that, did you see Tommy Boy? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen Tommy Boy.
Good movie. Pretty
It's a
good.
silly question.
Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
I don't know.
That's a recommendation. I would say you should watch that.
Who's in that?
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon,
Is that you like
Robin
apples?
Williams. Yeah, Robin Williams.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. It's been a while though.
You're gonna want to see it again. You gotta use your brain with that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's like really smart. He's a janitor or something. They go to Vegas, win a lot of money. There's that Rain Man.
Yeah, that's not it. That's Rain Man. Have you seen The Hangover?
Yeah,
they go to Vegas.
Yeah, that guy's
and they
Man also.
Rain Man. Boom. There you go. What else? Wisconsin, Purdue for first place on Sunday.
Rounders, amazing movie, Bootzilla. Amazing. Sorry.
Have you seen what's that Scorsese movie?
I've probably seen every gambling poker movie there is.
So that for you is like what? That for you is like
Godfather stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I was thinking, what's the New York Scorsese movie?
Casino. Probably haven't seen Casino though. It's older. I ain't getting to the gambling until later. Zach, we're not even putting that up on the screen.
Gangs of New York. That's what
Gangs
I was
of
thinking
New York.
Scorsese. I for some reason I thought Streets of New York, but Streets of New York is a movie from 1939.
Did we go through all this or not?
Shout out Citizen Kane as well, also from that time. Have you seen Wizards? Have you seen Wizards of Oz?
Let's do this let's finish this. Let's finish this, and then we can talk movies all you want.
I think Zach Bates is going for the.
He's trying to get a reaction.
The cool take, like The Office, yeah, because The Office is obviously. I don't know. The Office was obviously the biggest show that people were watching when we were in high school, so I feel like he's going for something there. Real quick, Wisconsin, Purdue, first place. I think Wisconsin loses that game. I think it's at Mackey, right? So give me Purdue.
Yeah, give me Purdue.
Other games.
It's at Wisconsin.
Oh, whatever. I don't know why I wrote that the way I did then. Give me Wisconsin. Whoever's at home, give me them. Friday tonight, you got Ohio State at Iowa, 6:00 on FS1. Penn State at Indiana tomorrow. Northwestern at Minnesota tomorrow. Who cares? Rutgers at Michigan tomorrow. Maryland at Michigan State. Maybe the only good game. It's on Fox. And then Big Ten tournament. They're going to have less than 18 teams next year when the teams come in, which I think.
Well, they announced the schedules. That's what I kind of wanted to talk about, not the tournament. But hold on, give me a second. It's gonna be 20 games still, and okay. 20 conference games. Each school would play every other school at least once, and they would play 3 schools twice. The 2 play opponents will be determined annually by competitive balance, geography, and rivalries. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's a weird way to do it. So, like, good teams are playing good teams. So, wouldn't that skew who would win the regular season?
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be executed terribly no matter what, I would say.
Yeah, I think they're going to do this, and then they're going to kind of reevaluate, which
I definitely trust the Big Ten for sure.
Right. The coaches got to vote on keeping it 20 games. So
I think that's the right move.
We'll see what happens.
What's a number above 20 that makes sense? Like, you're really going to do 22? That would be weird.
I don't know, because I don't know
overkill.
Like already you don't play every team twice because there's too many. So I get it. So who do you think Illinois' teams would be? Northwestern for sure. They'll play twice every year. I think Indiana, Iowa.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
How many teams are in the Big Ten tournament now? After when it gets to 18? 16? 15. Yeah, that's the right move.
Think. If Illinois is ever not in the Big Ten tournament, does Brett Underwood get fired?
It depends on what happens the year before that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do this ad read, and then we can talk movies for the next 30 minutes if you guys want to. If you don't want to, you guys can leave. As always, we want to shout out Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon at 700 East Broadway Avenue in Mattoon, Illinois. You can find them online at www.alamo-steakhouse.com. It is a new month, which means there's new specials. Friday is today, I think. It's Louisiana gumbo. You ever had gumbo?
I've not.
Me neither.
From Illinois.
It's a classic gumbo served with rice. So their featured items this month is a patty melt sandwich for $14. And their featured dessert is a red velvet cake. So thank you again to Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. If you'd like to be a sponsor for our episodes or our watch parties, reach out to us on Twitter or email us at illinibasketballpodcast@gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, share. Like I said, we're over 450 now. We're trying to get to 500. If you guys can help us out, we'd appreciate it. And now we can talk about whatever. Oh, we need to do upsets. Sorry.
This is a good point here.
Ethan is cheese pizza and chicken fingers. No way he will ever try gumbo. That's true.
Unbelievably true.
I've wanted to bring pizza to watch parties, and Ethan's like, I only eat cheese pizza, so I refuse to bring it.
First of all, number one, cheese pizza is the easiest way to know whether the pizza
Dave
place
Portnoy
is good or not. Like Dave Portnoy is not the most influential person in pizza right now, which he absolutely is. That tells you all you need to know.
Okay.
One bite, everybody knows rules. I mean, those are the rules.
Bootzilla says if Tyler hasn't seen Wizard of Oz, there's no hope for him. Who hasn't seen Wizard of Oz? I don't even like.
I think that movie sucks.
How about Mary Poppins? You ever seen Mary Poppins?
Who?
Mary Poppins. I was shy. So like years ago, my wife had never seen it, so I made her watch it.
Those like Christmas donuts or something?
Mary Poppins, Dick Van Dyke from Danville, Illinois. Mary Poppins. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Nope. Have you seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Who cares? I don't watch Christmas movies.
Really? Have you seen Die Hard?
Maybe once.
Have you seen All the President's Men?
No.
Okay. Just wondering.
Philip says outside of Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Northwestern, Michigan State, who makes the tournament? I think he named them all. Illinois.
I think Maryland is the only one that could sneak in.
I can sneak in. Bootzilla is taking Butler over Creighton for his upsets. I don't even know what games are on this tomorrow.
Upsets. Yeah, give me let me go. I will say one upset that could be a good one is St. John's over UConn at St. John's. But I'm not taking that. Give me. Let me go. Do I go back to the Virginia well, except pick Virginia to win? No. Give me Maryland over Michigan State. Stick in the Big Ten.
I will do. I don't know.
Also, give me Chattanooga over Samford.
I'll take Texas over TCU at TCU.
Not even that much of an upset, but sure.
What do you mean? It's got to be. Texas is terrible.
Yeah, it is an upset, but not that much of an upset.
TCU's at home.
Yeah, sometimes winning games matters,
and it's hard to pick upsets when like teams are at home. Home court just kind of screws it. So,
all right, then give me UConn over St. John's. Big upset.
Okay.
I think Jeffrey's talking about
of that.
I think Jeffrey's talking about the pizza review thing that I was talking about.
Oh.
He probably doesn't like Dave or something.
You thought I hadn't seen Wizard of Oz? Why would I? What made you think that? Beard over those Auburn frauds is Hinkles.
I think Ole Miss is also a fraud, which is the problem.
You have been saying that. I keep seeing Illinois matched up with Akron in bracket predictions. I really want to see it beat up John Gross's team.
I think we're three or 4 years in a row of Illinois and Akron being.
It seems like they put it every year. Yeah. And then Illinois, I think last year Illinois fell to the 9 seed.
Or Akron just doesn't win the MAC, you know.
That's true. That's the only way.
Because I think last year Kent State won it. Yeah. And then obviously Ohio had a bit of a window there. Have you seen
I'm out of water.
Have you seen Superbad?
Yeah, that's got to be like top 5 comedy.
I like it a lot, but I almost feel like we're to the point where everybody likes it, so it makes me take a step back.
What about have you seen Road Trip?
What a brilliant name for a movie.
You've never seen Road Trip?
I've seen Roadhouse.
I don't know who's in it.
I'll look it up. Go get water. We got another hour or two of this, so be ready. What's the size difference on Chattanooga and Samford? You're on drugs if you think St. John's beats UConn. I'm just saying, you never know. It's a Big East. It's a road game. St. John's has lost some of these big spots. You know, you never know if they, you know, get it done finally. You never know. You never know, right? Okay, I'm looking at Chattanooga, Samford difference in size here. Let me see. Stanford is 350th in average height. Chattanooga is 288. So it's not that big of a difference between those two. Well, Coming to America, I've never seen that. I don't know why.
I've seen Coming to America. So it was the first movie. I watched it with my parents, and there's boobs in that movie. And I was young. It was just kind of the first time I ever saw him.
Great story.
That's what I remember about it. That's the only reason why I remember the movie. There was a new Coming to America. Have you seen that one? Is that one good?
I haven't. No. Who's in the running for Ohio State's Holtman job? I mean, Sean Miller, like you said, yeah, I think he would be in the mix. I think Josh Schertz at Indiana State is going to be a hot name on the carousel this year. I think DePaul is probably going to be targeting him pretty hard, but if Ohio State came calling, obviously you take Ohio State over DePaul. I mean, do they look at Thad Matta at Butler? No, I'm just kidding. They're not going to do that again. That Bootzilla, how about that? I said that before I even saw that. I don't even know if I'm there yet to think about names. Chris Beard, like, would Chris Beard leave Ole Miss for Ohio State?
Maybe.
I don't see why not. Musselman, yeah, Musselman. If he wants to leave Arkansas, it's been a shit show this year.
One season.
Do they dip into the NBA assistant pool and go with Chris Quinn, Miami Heat assistant? I know he's been a name for a while. Played at Notre Dame. Remember, Notre Dame was, or I don't know if he played at Notre Dame. You know, he did play at Notre Dame. He was in the running for that job.
Okay.
Does Micah Shrewsbury leave Notre Dame for Ohio State? That's funny. Dusty May. If Dusty May sees FAU's about to lose all their guys, does he head over to Ohio State? You know,
open ship. Yeah.
They can cast a wide net there. It's a Big Ten job. So with the recruiting resources too, Ohio State. I know they're more of a football school. Everybody knows that, but they got resources there for sure. Quackle, good stuff. Philip, beer. I don't know what that is.
That's a movie.
No. Road Trip, by the way.
A long time ago.
Todd Phillips, Breckin Meyer, Sean William Scott, Amy
Tom
Smart,
Green's in it, I think.
Tom Green plays Barry Manilow.
My dad loved that movie. Like he watched it like twice to 3 times a week.
I mean, it looks like it sucks, but maybe I'll watch it.
It's I mean, it's good. It's funny. I don't know. It's kind of one of those. It's in the same as like Super Bad and those. So,
have you seen Knocked Up?
Yes.
Good movie. If Josh Schertz doesn't leave Indiana State for DePaul, I don't know what DePaul's going to do. Like if somebody else steps in on him, or if he stays in Indiana State, DePaul. I mean, who really even wants that job? You don't take that job unless they're giving you a guarantee, like a 5-year contract and money and stuff. Like that's a brutal job in the Big East. None of it makes like that. I don't know if there's any coming back for them. They might be a D3 program 40 years from now, It's tough.
And Brat's still talking about the bridge on the River Kwai. How do you know when you saw that? That's great. May of 1966.
You just aged yourself. I mean, geez. What are you, 100 years old?
Oh, geez.
Joke. It's all good
Arthur.
fun. Jawan to DePaul. You know what? I could see Chris Quinn taking a college job possibly this year, or an NBA job, the Heat assistant. And I could see Jawan going back to the Heat and being on that staff. I could totally see that. Of course, I would think Jawan would maybe want to get an NBA head coaching job, and I think he could, be in the running for some of those. I don't think their teams are begging like Gus Johnson was saying, but
I don't think Jawan goes to a different college team.
No way.
I think he'll be done with it if Michigan.
He's always made more sense as an NBA guy anyway. I mean, I think the only reason he took the college job is because it was Michigan. Step Brothers sucks. I've seen Step Brothers too many times. It's fine. I mean, Tyler is like 55 years old, so he's pretty old.
Ethan likes picking on old people.
It's a joke. I mean, come on, it's a funny joke. Cronin to DePaul. Yeah, that's a tough spot for UCLA. That's a tough spot. Like Cronin could maybe leave for Louisville if that job opens, which I think it probably should. And Brod's aging himself again.
His principal's son died in Vietnam that year too. I think the ranges at T. Benning are named after him. Here's why I was ever in the military.
Let me pose a question to Embrots, military guy. Have you seen Masters of the Air? New Apple TV show.
You think Embrots has Apple TV?
Probably not, but it's kind of like a Band of Brothers type show in terms of who's doing it.
Jeffrey won't even pay for Peacock to
Fun
watch
fact,
Illinois game.
The TED show on Peacock with Scott Grimes as the dad in that show was a big part of Band of Brothers. Played Malarkey, I believe. Donald Malarkey, I want to say. He hasn't seen it, so that's not a surprise. But I was just, posing the question, hard-hitting question, journalistic question. Anger Management, that's a movie, right? I don't think I've seen it. Have you seen Office Space?
I think so, yes.
Not a fan of that movie, I will say. Saving Private Ryan, Bootzilla. Yeah, I've seen that, and it's fine. Apocalypse Now, never heard of it. No to Band of Brothers, lived it, makes it different. Yeah, that's fair. It is an interesting, I think it's a show that's probably made for people who are younger or Hey, Henkel, it's not a cartoon show, moron.
Is he talking about Ted? Ted's really good.
Yeah, like what do we
I've never even watched the movies, and I like the show.
20 different subscriptions. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to. I would say the ones that are really worth it, Netflix, everybody's going to have it, even though the price keeps going up. But, Seinfeld for me, obviously. And they have some good movies that pop in every once in a while. I've been meaning to watch that GameStop stock movie that came out last year with, I think, Jonah Hill, maybe. I need to watch that. Hulu. HBO Max, which I'm never going to call it Max. I'm just going to call it HBO Max and Peacock.
Isn't it crazy? Like Netflix is literally the most expensive one.
Yeah,
by
it's
far.
outrageous. If you Paramount Plus, obviously Hawaii 5-0, phenomenal. One of the great what's it called? One of the great procedural of our time for
What's
sure.
this nerd talking about? Naruto.
Yeah, I mean that's give me a break.
People are gonna look at this. They're gonna be like hour and a half show about Illinois basketball, and then they're gonna get in here and realize we talked about Illinois basketball for about 25 minutes.
Oh BS! We talked for Illinois basketball for like an hour. GameStop movie is great. All right, there you go.
Is
Endorsement. Have you seen Moneyball?
Yeah.
Good movie. YouTube is great for basketball. YouTube TV or YouTube? YouTube TV is definitely the option you want to do, I think, if you don't have cable, if you're a sports fan.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to have cable, and sometimes you got to.
Yeah, YouTube TV costs as much for us.
It is a lot, yeah.
Because you have to buy internet through Comcast, and they hose you if you don't have cable through them. So it's pretty much the same price. Do we even talk about if the Illini win out? No. We talked about it earlier in Brats.
Is Illinois more likely to go 0-10 or 10-0 the rest of the season?
10-0.
It's pretty close, though, I'd say.
Yeah, but
half the team would have to die, probably.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Pulp Fiction. Ooh. Pulp Fiction.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
What year was Pulp Fiction? 94? Yeah. 94 was like the year that everybody talks about, right?
About movies. Grease. You ever seen Grease?
They, in high school, and
they made you watch it?
The Naruto fellow will remember this probably. In high school, I think there was a theme to homecoming or prom that year of Grease. And I'd like to see Naruto fella there chime in if he remembers this. They had like a big screen showing in the gym of Grease, and I was just off to the side running security. So I wasn't running security. I was just off to the side talking to teachers instead of watching this stupid ass movie that I have zero interest in watching. Grease. I mean, you talk about overrated. It might not have been Grease, actually, now that I think about it. But, you never know.
Jeffrey says 8-2 for Illinois. Eagle says, "What's Ken Palm predict?"
It was definitely Footloose. It was definitely Footloose, not Grease. So, but I agree with Naruto's comment here. So, I mean, look, it was a complete waste of time to watch a stupid movie like that. But either way, Footloose, Grease, they both suck. I mean, let's be honest. I don't even know what Grease is. Let me see.
John Travolta.
Oh, so lame. I mean, give me a break. Talk about making something about yourself. When Olivia Newton-John died, John Travolta made it all about himself. That stupid ass commercial. What do you want me to say?
Can you tell us the predictions for the next 10 games on Ken Palm?
Sure, why not? I'll run those numbers. Ken Palm has Illinois going 7-3 to finish. Losses to Michigan State, Wisconsin, Purdue. So 14-6. I would take that.
I would take that too. What's your feeling on Mississippi State and Alabama?
Do they play tomorrow?
I think
they do. I think I looked. Yeah, it's at Alabama.
I don't know.
Alabama's pretty streaky. I mean, they scored 1 billion points in the second half earlier this week to beat Georgia. Mississippi State's good defensively. I don't love them when it comes to scoring, and that's literally what Alabama does. Alabama's got a 125.5 efficiency on offense. They score a ton of points. Mississippi State is a top 20 defense, so I think it'll be an interesting game, but I think the fact that it's at Alabama would tell me that Alabama is going to win. They'll just be able to score more. Mississippi State coming off a game where they gave up 86 points to Ole Miss, by the way. So they scored 82, so that's a high. Mississippi State scoring 82 in an SEC game is like scoring 102, so it's pretty good.
Okay.
What is this comment here?
A movie? I don't know. I've never seen it.
Sounds really dumb. But
okay.
I'm just saying. All right, last call for comments. I'm gonna look up and see if we've ever done a podcast this long.
There's no way. Well, maybe.
We did an hour 33 after the Michigan State game.
This year?
Yeah.
What the heck did we talk about that one?
Might have something to do with Shannon.
Anything's
Yeah, I don't even know
better
I don't even know what that is. Like,
what are you guys' thoughts on what's that anime? My son made me watch it.
That's something good.
Live action on Netflix now.
Squid Game?
Think of it. No.
I don't know.
What is it called? That's terrible.
We did an hour 21 after the Lindenwood game last year. Oh my God. That was the Sky Clark game, though. That was big time. We did some short episodes last year. My God. We're a bunch of losers. We did an hour 17 after.
That's because we didn't used to have all these people talking to us. We used to just talk. One Piece. Thank you, Matt.
Off track.
Thank you, Matt. One Piece. Yes.
Matt just outed himself as a nerd.
It was a good. I've only watched the live action. It was pretty good.
All of our episodes,
like 900 episodes. If there's like 9 or 8,000 episodes of it, my son's watched like 900.
We used to do a lot of like under an hour episodes. Hour 11, hour 23. We did a 20-minute emergency episode when Kofi and Io came back. Hour 7, hour 20. I think this is our longest of all time.
Did you mute me? Sorry.
Well, just in case, you know.
Let
me but if anybody wants to check out something here, check this out.
1100. He's seen 950. Are you my son's age?
Check that out.
Are we supposed to be looking at any, or did you talk about any of these games, or are we just talking about?
I don't know. That's our first ever episode. I just put in the chat there. So if anybody wants to click on that and check that out, that's probably good stuff.
We literally used to just do this every Friday. So we'd have to talk about like 3 games every episode.
Why would you watch Matt? I don't know. That's just not. If I'm going to watch a show from way back in the day, I would probably watch Happy Days.
Monday,
and also,
Tuesday.
Right. Henry Winkler.
You're supposed to say it. Henry
Winkler, great career over the years. What was I thinking? But if you want to go back to the 80s, you watch Cheers. I love Cheers, obviously. I have a lot, like my TV show movie taste is very much not something that somebody my age probably I think a lot of the people my age like all this new age BS, which I'm not really into. I don't know what Jeffrey's talking about. I don't know what he's babbling on about. Cheers. Everybody should go watch Cheers. It's on Paramount Plus now, so keep an eye out on that. Taxi is what I was going to say. Taxi. That's a
Taxi. I used to watch that on
People should go back and watch that. Obviously, Danny DeVito, great. But there's 2 shows that are on right now or have recently had seasons that, I would watch. Obviously, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which started in 2005, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, which started in 99 or 2000. So there you go. All right. This is, nobody wants to watch this anymore. I did watch The Office. Yeah, I love The Office, but that's fair. I didn't watch The Office until 2018 or 17. So that is a good point. That's fair. All things are fair. I'm late to a lot of stuff. So Harry the Hat on Cheers. Yeah, good character. Was also Night Court. Night Court, by the way, here's a fun fact. Night Court might be I don't even know if this is a word. Night Court might be the deadest cast from a 1980s show. Like 8 out of the top 10 cast members in that show are dead. I'm just saying. They are a very dead cast. And this Night Court reboot thing probably sucks. I've never seen it. Probably sucks. But all right, this is gonna take forever to upload, so probably posted tomorrow.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming out and listening to us ramble. So,
and we'll see everybody in a couple weeks. So
we're doing a watch party Sunday. We're talking about it.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably do it. I don't know. 86% chance.
Jeffrey said he knows you're slow. He tries not to talk about it.
I don't know, Jeffrey. Whatever, Jeffrey. You're the guy who can't spell or use grammar properly. Download the Grammarly extension. That might help you out, which I think I've already said before. But we'll see everybody in a couple weeks, or less than that, but maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, see ya. We'll see you Sunday, maybe, or Monday, whatever. Bye.